snow cap, so it has snow all year round. And this volcano, together with another we're going to appreciate further, because past these hills called Calbuco, are part of the Andes range too. But they are not placed in the Andes itself. They are placed on a fault previous to the Andes. So the Andes are a little further from here. Now these two volcanoes get into the active category, but in the case of the Osorno, we can call it today dormant, since the last eruption was in the year 1859. And that's why today we also notice this perfect conical chain. Now, this volcano also has a small ski center, which is in fact facing the side we see now. Around about half of the height in the middle point is where we have the ski center, so that's as far as you can go by car, which is around 1,200 meters high, around close to 4,000 feet. That's as far as you can get. And from there, for the people that enjoy climbing to the top, it's about 4 or 5 hours climbing. So in summertime, it's possible to reach the top of the volcano, since we had a very long, clear day. Here in summer, as you notice, it's clear at 6 a.m. and it's practically clear at 10 p.m. So we had a very long day, so people can reach the top of the Osorno volcano. Now the name Osorno is just spelled with O, O-S-O-R-N-O. It's in fact a Spanish last name. So the Spaniards were the one that named it because the local people or the natives used to call it Hueñu Ñauca, but probably the sounds are a little hard for them, and the Spanish name prevailed with the passing of the time. And now you look the other side, you're beginning to notice the bases of the other one. And that is the Calbuco volcano. Calbuco, this is C-A-L-B-U-C-O. And this is also, as I said to you, an active volcano. And in fact, this is definitely very active. The last eruption was in fact last year in April 22nd. We had the last eruption at this volcano, which we knew it was overdue because the previous one was 1961, and we knew the volcano was supposed to have a cycle of around 30 years. But it didn't have any further activity. It just happened. So it was Wednesday, if I don't remember correctly. And around 6 p.m., when most people were finishing work, going back home, when we suddenly saw first a very small cloud just coming up, and then suddenly started growing and growing and growing. And in about an hour, it had a huge column of ash, just that it was about 15 kilometers long. So it had this very big pulse at 6 p.m. That of course caused alarm in the area, but since not, the people living nearby managed to go to safe areas in time, so there were no people affected by the eruption of the volcano itself. But of course, some animals, and there were some material losses because of all the ash the volcano was issuing at that moment. And then the next morning, very early, in fact at night, at around 1 a.m., it had a second pulse that was even more explosive and stronger than the first. With that one, we had some little lava. The day this eruption, these two pulses happened, the weather conditions were good. But about a week after, it started raining a lot. So the rain, with the combination of the new ash and all the material, caused a lot of damage in the area, because this changed the courses of many creeks and rivers, and that was what really affected many of the properties around the area. So if you pay attention by the road, maybe you notice some ash accumulation, and as we continue further, you will notice some areas that still are quite covered by the ash. After these two big pulses, the volcano continued issuing some steam and ashes for a while, about 6 months. And also a week after these two reports, there was another important eruption too. But then the activity decreased, and in fact, it's been without any further activity more than probably more than 6 months that we haven't noticed anything on it. So that was the most recent eruption we have. So the area that was most affected is in fact the area we're beginning to pass by, which is we're reaching a small village quite soon that is called Ensenada. And in fact, these people were quite affected, as I said to you, because the ash fell over the buildings, and later with the rain, this caused many of the roofs to collapse, so they were quite affected. And then on